So this book is called The Courage to Be Disliked. I really love this book. It really impacted me. It's talking about a philosopher and a young man, and they're just having philosophical conversations while the philosopher is focused on the philosophy, but it's technically a psychology called Adlerian psychology. So it comes in a few nights. It's a pretty big book, so I will just be reading about what they talk about the first night, and if you guys like it, I'll continue with the other nights. So the young man comes up to this philosopher. They just start acknowledging each other and all that, and then the philosopher starts asking questions, and pretty much has submits this young man into saying he has a sense of inferiority and that he pities himself. So after he gets that established, the philosopher talks about his philosophy or psychology, which is Adlerian psychology. And the way he says it in the beginning is accepted realization of truth and human psychology. So he continues by saying why people change. And people change because if we focus on the past and we think that everything in the present is because of the past, then there's nothing to live for because everything is set for your life. So, for example, let's say I messed up, and since I messed up, my life is getting shittier. It's getting bad because of the past, which means everything is decided already because it was the past. So I have no reason to live if I can't change the past. That is his first bullet point that he wanted to put out there. And then, so pretty much the past does not matter, rather about your present goals. So another vocabulary word that he has to say about Adlerian psychology is teleology, which is pretty much wanting to show an emotion because of the past. So let me let me say it like this: there was a mother, and she got a call from the daughter's teacher saying that the daughter was throwing books and raging and screaming, yelling, just acting like a misfit. So the mother just keeps talking to the teacher very calmly and says, "Okay, I apologize so much. I will work on it." And she hangs up. And right as she hangs up, she screams at the daughter, and she goes off on the daughter and is angry at the daughter. Obviously, she's showing emotion so that way the mother would submit to her. And then there's another one called etiology, which is not a part of Adlerian psychology, which is saying the exact opposite, which is blaming trauma on the past, which is what we just went back to. Everything that you have presently is because of the past. All right, so the next bullet point he has is saying we determine something not by the experience themselves, but by the meaning we give them. And that everything you decide is your goal, even if you don't want to do it. So let me come back to the first point, which is we determine something not by the experience themselves, but the meaning we give to them. So I'll say something personal. I had a job that I really wanted to do, messed up at the beginning, and got fired from the job. So the meaning that I had behind that was I'm not responsible enough to continue to try to have the same career path that I was thinking that I was going. Therefore, I went to a lower job and I went to clean bathrooms, and I used it as a punishment for what I did in the past. The meaning of me getting fired, that gave me meaning to give myself punishment. And that comes back to the next point, which is everything you decide is your goal, even if you don't want to do it. So my goal was to punish myself. And it doesn't matter what you do. It's when you want to go out and run, but instead you lay down on your bed and you scroll through TikTok all day. There's a goal that you have there. And the goal that you want to have is wanting to be comfortable and not wanting to suffer. So pretty much every single decision you have, you're doing it because of the goal you want to do. And so pretty much every single one of us is living in line with a goal. Not necessarily a specific goal, but we're living in line with a goal. Lazier people are living with the goal of comfortability. Hard workers are living with trying something else. But yes. Then the philosopher continues to talk about how to live without the past. So everyone has emotion, but we are not controlled by it, which means we are not controlled by the past. We, even no matter what emotion you're feeling, you can decide how you treat the present actions right this moment. Just because I'm sad today, I can still get up and I can still work. Or just because I'm sad today, I can just stay in my bed. I can just be lazy. So pretty much all of our emotions, we can control them. But yeah. So in Adlerian psychology, the philosopher says people are not driven by past causes, but move towards goals that they themselves set. So pretty much the goal that you have set presently is what you're trying to move towards. You are not trying to live through past causes, which is why I'm starting to understand why this is a philosopher that is talking about this psychology, because it sounds more philosophy than psychology, I would say. And the next point, he puts just a little small note. He just says, go and rely on answers of your own. Don't just accept what other people have to say. Use your own judgment and continue with it. Not loving yourself is you wanting to be someone else. So the philosopher says he wishes not to be anyone else. Whenever the philosopher asks the boy, do you wish to be someone else? He's like, yeah, I wish I was this guy. I wish I was this guy. I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So in order to live your life, you should be comfortable with saying that you wouldn't want to be anyone else but yourself. Fixating on what you are born with doesn't change reality. Just because you're short, it doesn't mean you're going to grow. Just because you're insecure that your ears are too wide, that's not going to change anything. So it's nothing you should really think about because it doesn't change reality. Even the worst criminal has justification for doing evil, and they do it for the benefit of oneself. There are evil people that most people think are evil, but I guarantee you that all those people have a justification for doing the things that they did. Hitler probably had some justification of why he did the things he did. Murderers probably had justification for doing the things that they did. They are able to give themselves excuses. And so do we, not necessarily in a bad way, but we all give each other excuses for what we are doing. People are unhappy because they judged that being unhappy is good for them. And I could relate to this and just the past story that I said. Everyone is doing something for a specific goal, and what they think is somewhat good for them, they're doing it for a reason to do good for themselves in a certain way, good or bad. So, if people are unhappy, they're doing it for a reason. They are unhappy because they think they need to be unhappy. Everyone chooses their mood in that sense. Impulsively, not as much, but in general sense, people do decide that. And so whenever you feel like you're mad or whenever you feel like you're unhappy, you're doing it for a specific reason, and it's most likely because you know you're not doing the things that you have to do or something else. The philosopher continues by saying, your personality is your lifestyle. How one sees the world and how one sees themselves. So, Every decision is your lifestyle. So if I constantly make the decision of not really doing anything, that's the lifestyle. The lifestyle that I don't do anything. If my lifestyle is go to work and sometimes go to the gym, I'm that guy that just kind of survives and is still a part of society. But your lifestyle is your decisions on top of your decisions on top of your decisions. And those are your personality. Your personality is what you're presently doing. And so your lifestyle should just be what you make your entire mind out of, because that is the only thing that will benefit you. If you're benefiting through your actions and through your lifestyle, your personality will show it. And that's what the philosopher is trying to show right there. You think that the lifestyle you have right now is the easiest, even though you hate yourself. So I've been thinking of it more as like I've been trying to live a balanced life. I work hard when I work hard, but I also like to ease off. And I think this is the best for me because sometimes I get to have fun, sometimes I get to work hard. And sometimes, even when you kind of hate yourself and you know you're not doing everything you're supposed to do, you think that this is the best lifestyle for you. So you have to change it. If you still hate yourself, you think that you still think this is the easiest lifestyle that you can live. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to continue living with it. People don't want to change because it takes courage to be happy. This was my favorite quote. Out of the whole book, probably. I don't know. But definitely on top of there. People don't want to change because it takes courage to be happy. And this is where it starts talking about the courage to be disliked. There's that family member out there that doesn't want you to do the thing that you want to do. There's that thing in your mind that you don't want to do what you want to do and you just keep making excuses about it. It takes courage to be comfortable with whatever you want to do and being unapologetic for it. Because it takes courage to be happy. That's probably the only reason why you be happy. And even Alex Hormozy actually said this pretty good quote. I believe it was him. And he said, are you going to blame that family member that always does that little joke about your dream if you do chase your dreams? Are you gonna just stop doing your dream because you're afraid of that family member to say, oh, just kind of throw shade at you, and then you resent them for the whole time? Or would you rather do it, maybe not accomplish it, but at least you did it and you won't have to resent them even though they did talk negatively of you? At least they didn't hold you back. The philosopher continues by saying, never say, if I could only be like, if only I started earlier, if only I didn't have that family member that, if you take all those, if only it could be like, then you're never going to accomplish anything because it's not like that. And the best condition to start is just to start. Don't try to get in perfect conditions, or don't use something as an excuse for something you want to do and you're not going to do it. Just accept that there might be negative repercussions that happen for your dream, but if it's what makes you happy, you should do it. What you have done has no say in what you do from here on out. And that's another big topic about the psychology, is just present. It's a lot about being present. And you tomorrow you can be a bum. Today you could work hard. It all is about the present. So everything in the past happened in the past, and there's not really anything you could change about it, but you can change today, and you can change right now. So that's pretty much the conclusion of the first night. On the way out, the philosopher says real conversations need to be very intense, because throughout what I wasn't explaining is that the boy kept asking him questions. And I was mostly just writing notes about the actual philosopher. But the boy kept asking questions and started arguing with him and started being a little bit vicious with him. And at the end of the day, the boy started apologizing to the philosopher, saying, I'm sorry that I was being very aggressive, blah, blah, blah. And the philosopher just says, real conversations need to be very intense, like what just happened. And I think that's a huge thing that we lack in modern society is that everyone wants to please each other and no conversations are actually intense until the water leaks through. And I think just always constantly having good conversations that are 100% intense are what we need in modern days. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed that, I'm going to do night two in probably about a week. But before then, I will be doing another book. I will be trying to interview some people pretty soon, just trying to get this more established. But yeah, thank you.